Meet Mark. So I was just inside of Sandakan's first IQI branch speaking with Michael Tan, who's the PIC here. I was able to get some pretty good insights into how the Sandakan market works, and it's quite different from what you can expect in KL. So first and foremost, for a bit of context, KL side is roughly 50 times larger in terms of population, difference of about 200,000 against 10 million in terms of population. And if we look at things like rentals, here you can rent a unit about 800 to 1000 square feet, and we're looking at 1002 to 1004. And in KL, let's say we're looking at KL fringe area, not too far from city but not too city center as well, it can go between 2 to 3, sometimes 4,000 for a similar size. So the question that I really wanted to know is, how does the Sandakan market work? You know, are there investors who are interested here, or is it more built by the locals and for the locals? And this kind of dives down into other things like what kind of people actually come to Sandakan. Mostly you have tourists who come to see the proboscis monkey and the orangutan and sun bears, which are mostly Angmolang. Or if it's locals or Malaysians, they usually would rather go to KK, they want to see the islands and everything, or they will go to Sempona for diving to see all the beautiful corals and sea life. So what actually brings people to Sandakan? Actually, the answer is not very much. The kind of people who come here, for example, my girlfriend, she works in Clinic Kesehatan in Sandakan, and she's been here for 4 years. So I've been here about once every year for the past 4 years. And she is sent here by the government, and this is something that's very normal for Malaysia. You're basically, if you join the government, you'll be thrown left and right wherever they need manpower, you know. So a lot of people are in the same boat with her, and they are the ones who actually come here and they end up buying a property, especially if they want to stay in the government. Instead of paying rental here for many years, they would rather just buy a property. So there are quite a number of people who are coming here and buying for those reasons. Other than that, you have the businesses, the brands, because there is a demand for more variety of food, which the locals here just cannot get. In fact, people here, they actually fly to KK just to get their shopping fix. So if we're talking about external factors, those are the kind of factors that we're looking at of people coming into Sandakan. Now, in terms of a rental ROI point of view, is that enough demand? The answer is no. The kinds of properties that are being built here are mostly own stay purposes. Most of them are landed. The interesting thing here is you can buy a house for about 400,000, and also in the same area, same location, you can also buy a condominium for 400,000. It's the same price, but you have to pay maintenance fee. So that to me is really interesting, and it's totally different from KL, right? So why would someone invest under those market conditions? So why would a normal person who's just going to invest in a property to rent it out, why would they choose Sandakan unless they have other reasons to invest? Other reasons to be here. Now, if you look at Airbnb, which is one of the best ways to get the highest possible ROI in terms of renting out properties, can you actually fight against the demand here as an external investor? No, a bit hard, because the tour groups actually will bring tourists directly to the hotels near the tourist attractions, you know, near to the forest reserves. And beyond that, they don't actually get to see too much of the towns, you know. But if you actually look at things, places like KK, places like Sempurna, there are a lot more reasons for someone to go, to stay, to buy things, to bring back to their country. But here, it's just more for visiting and enjoying nature, right? Against, oh no, baby boo. So in a market that's predominantly catering for own stay, what can really support the local people here? You know, and there's an interesting commercial area, and it's called Sejati Central, and it's being built on 15 acres of land with about 140 double-story shop lots, inclusive of a 6-story hotel and a drive-through. Now, when you're trying to establish such a big commercial area supporting the local community, the first thing that comes to mind is who's going to open, how's it going to be managed, and who is actually going to go there. Now, the main advantages of Sejati Central is it's only 500 meters from the airport, and it's being built in the second most densely populated area in Sandakan. And this is only beaten by the town area, which is over at mile 2, that is considered to be Sandakan's main CBD. Now, if you look at shop lot rentals as a reference point for how well this is going to do, the shop lots at the town area can fetch rentals of roughly 9,000. If you go elsewhere, places like IJM, Prima, Inda, we are looking at maybe 3 to 5,000.
And that's a very, very big difference. It's mainly because the footfall in the main town area is much, much higher. And existing shops are actually doing well enough that they can actually afford the rental. Now, if we scale that down and we look at what areas has the population, the footfall, and the traffic to support something similar, I think people would argue that Sejati might be the next best choice. Now, is there really a demand for something like this? Yes, and I believe Sejati Central has the advantage of not only leveraging on the second largest residential area in Sandakan, but also being so close to the airport, being a potential hub for future tourists and foreigners to come and really experience Sandakan for what it has to offer rather than purely enjoying the forest reserve. And if you talk to some of the locals and you start to wonder, can Sejati Central really compete with other commercial areas like IGM, Prima, and Inda? I think the answer is yes, because it is a totally different target market. IGM is an area that has a lot of food and a lot of hanging out places, but other than that, people who want to go for their shopping mainly go to the town areas. And, and Sejati Central is kind of a replicate of that with additional potential inside. Now, combining the fact that it targets both local community and some foreign franchises, it seems that this commercial area has potential. So anyway, those are just my thoughts. Visiting Sandakan for a couple of days. I'm sure many of you local people know much better than I do. So if you have anything to chime in, if you've heard of this, or if you'd like to find out more so you can share your opinions, yeah, do let me know.